Holy balls, it's cold here, boys. Whew. Freaking really, really cold. All right, welcome back to the channel, guys. But what we are going to be bringing you today is something a little different. We are doing some modifications to a 2018 Raptor the last few days. And I say we, but really Dan and Anthony have been doing the most of it. I started to work on it a little bit yesterday. So in today's video, you're going to see a lot about that. And some modifications to make it look like really racy and off-roady. So we have a 2018 Raptor. It is getting front bumper, race intercooler, and a rear bumper, like really minimalist. And then we had to do a dovetail cut on the back end, which is basically cutting the plastic at an angle and then cutting the body behind it, so it looks very trophy truck-esque. And then we're gonna paint a lot of it black, to not only, because it's a white truck, you guys will see. So we want to paint a lot of it black so it kind of hides some of the areas. And then he also wants like the wheel wells painted black on the inside. So anyway, that's what today's episode is about. I'm going to send it back to Dan so he can get you guys started on this project. We ran into a lot of snafus, but you'll see most of them in the video. It took us a lot longer to do this project than we had originally anticipated, unfortunately. So here we go. Let's get started on the 2018 Raptor project. Well, starting the morning off early. How's it going, everybody at Streetcar? We are working on something new today. Obviously, we already jumped right into it. Getting new front and rear bumper and an intercooler. Already got the grill off. It already had an aftermarket front and rear bumpers because it has some, SCA kit on it or something. But here's the front one. Big old thing. Ooh, and a little teaser. New car. And here is the new one. It's a little lower profile, looks way lighter. So, yeah. And there's the new rear bumper as well. And then we are going to put a full race intercooler on it as well. So this will relocate it into the grill, which is why we got all that apart. So we can get at the factory intercooler, which is way down here. Little thing. So now we are going to take that out and give you a little comparison of the new versus the old. So we got the intercooler off, got all the active shutter set up for the intercooler all off, obviously. There she is. Cute little thing. This thing needs a catch cam pretty bad though, because as you can see, you got a little oil in there and a little bit in there. So that should be another thing added to the list, would be a catch can setup for these. Seems like ecoboosts all need them, that's for sure. Well, not sure they put enough packing peanuts in that thing. Because holy cow. It's like almost a 55-gallon drum full. It's about, I don't know, 1.5 times. But now the mounting will hopefully be able to pull in more cold air. So we'll see how this all goes. Look at the instructions, see how it mounts, and kind of go from there. Oh yeah, here's all the other parts it came with. I need couplers, lots of clamps, and a bunch of brackets. So we'll get back to it. Got a little bit further. It's not as direct. It is pretty direct bolting, but there's a couple little things that are not, which I wish we would have saw, but it's in.
So obviously the factory one bolted down like way under here in this area. Now I got all that open area. It'll get rid of all that stuff. The thing that wasn't bolted in was this. So if you have the supposer, like the E blow-off valve or whatever, you need to get like a rubber line. You cut this one apart and use the two ends and remake it rubber, because otherwise there's no way you're gonna get it to go under this. So we're just gonna try and vent it to atmosphere, and it'll kind of go like that. Since it usually just goes and sucks up into the air box, this should work out just fine. So next thing we're gonna have to do is start trimming away the grill, which that's gonna be kind of a tall task. So we'll see. We got the Raptor intercooler is now on. It is a full race kit, so it comes with charge piping. It does replace all the charge piping. It just replaces the ones here on both sides, relocates that, and then you get the one that goes from that pipe up into the throttle body. If it'll focus. There it goes. So you get the one that goes into the throttle body up there. So that all gets replaced, and as you saw the unboxing, there was a whole slew of packing peanuts, which I don't even know where they went, but it doesn't matter. So we are now going to start trimming away the grill to fit. Got to get rid of the active shutters, because that's not going to be used anymore now the intercooler's there. And we also don't use this. I guess you can rebolt it in. I don't see why you would, because there's nothing there anyways. That is being removed as well, because now it's going to have that obviously a bumper with the skid plate, so all that will be covered anyways. I wish we were coming back to you with a little better news, but the intercooler is on. Frame horns have been modified to accept the plates for the new bumper, both sides. As you can see, charge pipes are in there. Intercooler's up in the grill. Everything's back together up there, but the bumper doesn't fit. So with this addictive design from Bumper Kit, you need to get their specific intercooler mount kit. Yes, it still utilizes the full race intercooler kit. You just need the upper and lower mounts from ADD in order to utilize their front bumper. So yeah, slight little mishap on the parts from that were supplied, so kind of stinks, but not everything is sunflowers and rainbows or whatever that saying is. Slacking a little bit on the recording for the rest of the truck, but we have got the rear bumper on. This is an SCV rear bumper, Baja, for the Gen 2. We're now obviously, as you can see, prepping to trim the end of the beds to match up with the bumper. This bumper came pretty messed up. I don't know if you can tell. That's why I was smashed in. We got it out a little bit, enough to fit the cap. Had a couple nicks here and there. This side was like all sorts of scratched up. You can probably see, yep. I tried to clean it up as best as I could, but it was even starting to rust underneath there. Not really rust, maybe a little flash. So cleaned it up and got it covered. But yeah, so the other thing you have to do with this is kind of tie up all your sensors, because there's no place to have any reverse aid sensors into this bumper. So yeah, and then you relocate the trailer hitch stuff to right there, all locked in nice and tight like. And then this bumper comes with a LED license plate light, because obviously you can't run the factory stuff anymore because there's no place to put it. So that's right up in there. As you can see, it mounts right with the license plate, which has nice stainless steel hardware for that, which is good. It has 4 grade 8 for each, 2 each side. And then, so what you got to do, I just put a nice Deutsch connector so you can still remove the bumper if necessary. Wired into the factory lights, so it splits off. Technically now you can run either or. We just covered everything that was open, which are only those two. Then you have other aftermarket lights that we covered up. But as you can see, these two are here. Pulled the bulbs out of them. ran the power from that, so feeds the LED license plate lights that are now there, which I will show you right now. This is all lit up. We are then going to try and figure out what we got to do for the front bumper. We were told we have to do a little bit more modifications to get the front bumper to work from the company that makes the kit and everything. So I think we're going to jump into that either now or in the morning, but either way, so far so good, at least with the rear. Obviously it was a little bit more of a pain than anticipated, but yeah. So what they also want you to do with this, the owner, okay, so you have to trim off, there's like a bottom portion of this bumper, trim off that, so obviously it looks nice and flush and clean. So I trimmed it off about 6 inches from the top, right across the bottom, both sides. Keeps it nice and clean, and you don't see it, nothing hanging down from below this. Just so this will give it now even more of a Baja look. So this will follow the bumper line under here, go down, and then we are also trimming the plastic around that to cover up and make it look even cleaner, which Nicholas is working on. And so far I think we came up with a good design for it, and we think it looks pretty good. Utilizes a nice curvature of the wheel well.
Plugs.
Huh?
Nice earplugs.
Yeah. Why am I yelling?
Huh?
Am I yelling a little bit? Yeah. Oh. So.
It's a nice stylish touch.
Oh yeah. I did a lot. Yeah, I was doing a lot of cutting and impacts and a lot of noise. So try and protect the ears as best as possible. So far so good today. Not as well. We're not ending off in such a poor note like we did yesterday. I was looking up today. Then I go to force scan and disable the rear park aid, because obviously all those sensors are now hidden up above, and they're going to be touching something, so the aid is going to go off like crazy. So I'm going to go into force scan, turn that off, and truck should be good to go.
Alright guys, the most nerve-wracking part of this project has finally been completed, which was cutting the rear end for the dovetail cuts for the trophy truck look. So I'm going to show it to you right now. But I'm going to kind of show you what tools we use and how we lined it up, so you guys can kind of, if you want to do this on your own, you guys can know how we did it. So what you'll need is silver Sharpie, black Sharpie. We used an air saw like this, just a Harbor Freight one, nothing crazy. A handful of blades, because when you start cutting the aluminum on the body panels, the fresh blade really helps. You're going through multiple layers in some areas, so we just used a blade per side. And then we also used a bandsaw for a straight cut on the plastic. So let's show you what it turned out like. So now obviously this is the SVC minimalist rear bumper. Super clean. Here is the biggest modification really, which is these dovetail cuts. So what we did was cut little things that were different from what we did or what we saw on the internet. Obviously we want to line the back up with the bumper. That was the look we were going for. That's exactly how it turned out, which is perfect. We cut this, what it normally hung down to about here. So this all got cut off. And then we used a file, we filed it flat, and then we painted the inside black, so you cannot see the inside of the corners. We also painted the inside of the wheel wells black. And once we cut this bottom portion off, this plastic piece needs to be removed a couple times. We painted all that black underneath there also, so you can't really see the aluminum that was underneath. When it was white, you could see it all the way down here. So now it's completely removed. So a couple tips. One, there is a handful of push pins. You need to remove them from the backside. So you'll squeeze them with like a pliers and push them out. Then once that plastic is off, you want to remove the push pins from the plastic piece so you can put it on and off a couple times. Because what we did is we taped off this whole line and then cut it, and then we traced this line onto the aluminum, and then we went about 1/4 inch up so that you won't see it. And then it's up to you for the design really. So the owner wanted it to kind of continue into the here straightly, which is, there's a big bump right here for the aluminum, for the plastic trim. And if you cut it all the way down here, straight across, you'll end up with a big portion, about 1.5 inches of that molding just cut off. So what we did is we kind of followed continued this body line down, and around this corner, so it's a little stronger. So it doesn't move, it doesn't flex, it still wraps in here. And then we followed that up and then continued it up. So it turned out really nice. Then new 3M tape on the top, make sure everything stays clean. We scuffed and painted underneath, so it's got some protection on it. And turned out pretty freaking sick. Digging it. Get a little bit further away view. So both sides are done with this bumper installed. Everything's completed in the rear end. Now we gotta flip it around because we are also installing front bumper and intercooler. And as you guys saw earlier in the video, it's causing problems. So now we're gonna remedy that coming up here next. All right guys, so we have the rear done. You saw that already. Now we're working on getting the front intercooler on. So we've kind of come up with a solution. This normally falls into here, which no longer, it's too low. So we have to move it up and back. So instead of using these holes as isolators, we're actually going to just drill and through bolt it to these mounts directly, and then the upper will still use the rubber isolator. So cut down because we're gonna have to cut this part off. Yeah. So I'm just got these center punch. We're just gonna tap that for a 5/16 bolt. Dan is drilling the location in which they're gonna bolt in. And then the bottom of the intercooler will be bolted to the mount, and then the top will use the factory rubber isolators. And then the boots will line up. Alright guys, the Raptor project is finished. So if you guys found this video useful, please give us a thumbs up. Or if you just found it as good entertainment, comment down below. I'm going to show you guys a walk around on it. Dan is driving it around the parking lot real quick just to make sure it still makes boost, doesn't blow a boot off or nothing like that. And then we'll show you guys a little walk around on what she looks like. It was a lot of work. It was way more work than anticipated. We could probably do the next one in half the time knowing what we know now. But it did turn out super, super sick. I mean, it looks awesome. Anthony, what do you think?
It was definitely cool, but
probably wouldn't do it to yours?
I would not chop 12 inches off each frame rail, no. But it is badass. Definitely looks cool.
Pretty sweet. Alright, well there you guys have it. There's the finished product. It's awesome. The customer's really happy with it. And we're going to load up his old bumper into the bed. And then they're going to come pick it up and get it the heck out of here. So until next time, guys, make sure you subscribe down below. We'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. And have a great evening.